All right, we are live. Welcome, everyone. Just want to make sure we're all set up here. Yeah. I want to go ahead and share it to some more Facebook pages real quick. Okay, great. All right, well, welcome everybody. Looks like we lost Jason, but I'm sure he will be back. You lost Jason. That's all right. He will be back. No worries.
Yeah.
So we will get started. Hi, everybody. I'm Odette Ramos. I'm your councilwoman for the 14th District. Welcome to our Wednesday night town halls. Excited to have our topic this evening. Before I get there, want to just give everybody some updates. This weekend is extremely busy in the district. So let me go over all the events. The first thing is on Saturday morning, DPW will be at Mervo, and they will have free trees. They will have a shredding event. They will have they will also have mulch, that kind of thing. So if you've got shredding you want to bring, but also we will have a table there with information about how we're doing so far in addressing the consummate flooding issue that we've had on 35th and Hillock. So if you want to find out more, then come by on Saturday. There's Jason, great. And then in the afternoon, we have our first job fair, which we're going to talk a little bit about in a minute. We'll have several employers at the Y from noon to 3 o'clock, and we'll talk about that in a minute. We have a new group called the Clean Green District 14 group, and we're trying to do a campaign to try to get people to stop dumping on our medians and throwing stuff out the window and all of that. And that group has a cleanup on Saturday at 11. And then there's also an event in Charles Village to help promote the business district. So it's a super busy weekend. I guess the Ravens aren't playing, which is why everybody's got events going on this weekend. Because you notice there are no events during Ravens games, I guess for a reason. So very busy. Many of you have gotten your recycling bins already. Better Waverly just got them. Coldstream Homes in Montebello and Darley Park also have them. So we should be getting the rest for the district in the next few months. So that's very exciting. And continue to talk to people about getting vaccinated. If you need your booster, we do have a lot of vaccine clinics now in the city and in the district. So you can check those out on our website. Okay, so those are our announcements. And I want to introduce our topic today. Again, just kind of preparing us for Saturday when we have our first job fair, District 14 job fair from noon to 3 at the Y. We have employers like Carroll Fuel and Cloverland who are actually in the district. We have some industrial parts of the district, and so they're located there. We also have Gilchrist that just moved into the district that wants to participate. The Y is looking for people, and a business called Dream Management that does transportation services is also looking for people. And we have a few others. We will have an expungement clinic there. And we also have some other resources. So it should be a good day. We're planning on having it outside in the parking lot. So that'll be nice. If it rains, we'll just move it inside and just be fully masked. And so I'm looking forward to it. As many of you know, this is not my field. My field is in housing and community development. And we'll talk a little bit about the melding between the two in a minute, but I am learning a lot. We obviously need people to have jobs to pay the rent and pay the mortgage, et cetera, and all the bills. But, you know, things are starting to change too, where, well, and I've actually been a huge advocate of Fight for 15, worked on that in Annapolis with this big coalition in my past life. So it's important to me that we have good wages and good jobs and good benefits for people to be able to, you know, not have to work 4 and 5 jobs to feed a family, and that kind of thing. So I'm interested getting more into this, which is why I said, okay, sure, let's do a job fair. And so I approached the mayor's office of employment and development for help, and they said, come to us first next time. And so I will do that, but also wanted to feature all of the work that they do, and this office does to help people get jobs and stay in jobs, but also work with employers to be able to do recruitment and make sure that they have jobs that people actually want. So there's all of that. So I'm really excited to welcome Jason Perkins-Cohen, who's the director of the Mayor's Office of Employment Development in Darel Falls. You can introduce yourself. He's a magic man, I tell you. Just before we just came on, just a funny story, I was having a technical issue and he came on and it went away. It just disappeared. So he's our magic man today. So I look forward to hearing from you both. So welcome to you both. Thank you so much for taking time on Wednesday night after what obviously is likely a busy day. And thank you for all you do.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
Yep. Thanks for having us. We're excited to talk to you.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. So Jason, introduce yourself a little bit and talk about how you got here and what you've been doing. And you came through the advocacy route like I did.
I did. Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So good evening, everybody. Again, I'm Jason Perkins-Cohen. I'm a Baltimore guy. Grew up in Baltimore, went to Baltimore City Public Schools. Went to City. Is City in your district?
City is my district. Thank you very much. All right. Yes.
So I went to City. My kids, my youngest just graduated last spring. 3rd generation City College alum
nice.
Now. And as you pointed out, I've been in workforce development my whole career. Prior to coming to MOED, I was the director of a terrific nonprofit. Had the privilege of working for them, and you know, they do a mix of job training and advocacy. And, you know, I feel fortunate to come to MOED and to work with people like Darel. And, you know, what we know is that we have to build a workforce system that works. It has to work for all of your residents and residents across the city, and it has to work for employers. And that's what we're busy doing. You know, there's the part, and we'll talk about this, I'm sure, about getting people to work, but there's also sort of just the broader vision about just making this thing work for everyone much more easily so they can get to where they want to get to more quickly.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Great. Yeah, thank you. We're going to get into the details in a minute, but Mr. Falls, Magic Man.
I'm Darel Falls. Yes, with the magic. Darel Falls, I am a new workforce supervisor in the agency. I started out as a case manager, CDF, began doing work with helping individuals get into training, then get to work. Also, then I moved into career navigator, then business services rep, and now I'm here. And to Jason's point, we cast a wide net in this city when it comes to workforce. We really cast a wide net across the state. And that is the greatest thing about this agency, is that we're almost in almost every area where you can reach us and access us. We call it access points. We have centers in East Baltimore, Southwest Baltimore, Northwest Baltimore. We're in every silo that you can get to. So we cast a wide net because, as he said, we are really, really interested in helping employers find those great candidates. And there's not a better workforce in the world than right here in Baltimore City. It's here. And what has to happen now is that folks need to understand that there is a need for folks to sustain their families. And a lot of the candidates that are looking for work, that's their aim right now. How do I sustain my family? And they're looking for employers that are willing to offer those wages to help make that happen.
Oh, we just lost Jason again. I don't know if there he is.
There you go.
There he is. All right, great. Yeah, so
Talk
tell me a
about
little
magic,
bit
man.
more. That's all right. Tell me tell us a little more about specifically the work of the agency. I don't know if you've got slides, I can make you a co-host, but or just talk a little bit about, you know, there seems to be, you mentioned some centers all over the city.
Yes.
And then there's sort of the pathway, right? So you come in, somebody comes into your office, what happens?
When they come in, they immediately they're getting information about what services that we offer. And those services are pre-screening, resume writing, interviewing skills, anything training, customized training, as well as occupational skills training, anything that will help you with your goals. So individuals come into our centers, they have something in mind that they want. They're looking for a job. They have skills they're already aware of. And so we're helping them match their skills to a lot of employers who are reaching out to us looking for individuals. So that's really the gist of it. We're matching great candidates with great employers. And so a lot of folks, their resume may not be the best resume. We're going to spruce that up to make sure they're marketable. Some folks may not be that great at interviewing. We're going to coach them and provide them those skills to make them have the best fantastic interview they can have to sell themselves. Those individuals that may not have skills and may not have the technical skills, we're going to help skill them up and get them training so they can get a job with a certified industry certification in an industry that's soaring, that's growing, that they can advance in. So those are all the things that you can get from our centers, along with those wraparound services and those other supportive services like ID, helping you expunge your records, those kind of services we offer as well. And Jason can speak on some of the great things that's coming down the pipe that we're doing thanks to the ARPA funding.
Yeah, thanks, Darel. And you know, I can't say enough about the work that Darel and others do. I mean, as he mentioned, we have centers across the city. We have one at Mondawmin Mall. We have one on East Madison. Those are larger centers where we have partners. We've got satellite centers and job hubs. And across all of our centers, we'll service 30,000 residents in a given year. In the old days, it was in person. Now it's a mix, and our centers are currently open. Anyone can come in. You don't need an appointment. You do need to wear a mask like you do with all city buildings. And as Darel said, we will do anything that we need to do. We start with what you want, right? It's not what we want. It's like, where do you want? What is your dream job? What are you looking for? And we will work with you, whatever that is. If it's an immediate job because you got to get an income rolling, we're going to get you to work as quick as possible. Job or you've got some hours and it's really about your next career move, we'll sit down and talk with you about how to map that out with you as well. But it's all driven by customer, right? And your residents, your constituents are our customers. And we do it the same way on the employer side. And that's where, again, Darel can talk more about what he and his team does to service employers.
So, of course, everyone know we had to pivot because of COVID, but that was moving everything virtually. We were able to host at least 25 virtual recruitment events for major employers in Baltimore City, and we're still hosting those events. Even though we're moving back towards opening up our centers and allowing folks in, we're still opening up the possibilities for folks to interview and meet with employers virtually. We've had interview partnerships with University of Maryland, Walmart stores, the U.S. Postal Service, MedStar, Future Care, Northeast Food, Wild Leaf Beverage, Shasta, Holly Poetry. A lot of companies have come to us. It was almost as if they knew they had to transition virtually. We were prepared to help support them make that move, and we were right in the right place. And so we were able to help a lot of those manufacturing companies that were churning out a lot of goods because everyone was going home and starting to shop from home. Well, a lot of those folks that was working at Safeway, Aldi's, we were helping those individuals get those jobs right in the heart of COVID. And we're still moving in that direction. Right now, we're having some in-person events with the U.S. Postal Services at one of our TANF centers, the Workforce Reception Center. We're also having recruitment events all month, all into the holiday season, helping those employers that need folks right now. So we were able to really, really reach out to employers, fulfill their needs. For the first time since we became virtual, we set up a jobs board. You can go right on our jobs board right now and see over 4,000 open opportunities right now with a click of a right from your house. Just click, pop. There's 4,000 jobs right there. When you apply for that job goes straight to a business services rep that's going to reach out to you within 24 hours. And they must reach out to you because the employer has such a need. We don't have time to waste. We know that the employer have needs. But we also know that individuals are looking for, again, sustainable wages. They're looking for flexibility from employers. They're looking to be coached a little bit in some of these jobs so that they can sustain those jobs and retain those jobs once they get them and feel like they're part of a family and feel like they're part of a workforce that's finally working for them and their family. So we are pushing sustainable wages, sustainable family wages to employers to let them know that that might be where your gap is. Folks are looking for a way to take care of their families and not just take care of themselves individually. So that may be a lot that's going on as far as folks returning back to work. As many employers have so much need, we understand that need, but we also understand our folks are looking for a way to come up out of some of the circumstances and conditions that they're in. And economics is always one of those ways.
Well, one of the things that I've heard from people who are looking is, hey, I'm really behind on rent and I can't catch up by just making $15 an hour. No. I need to make $40, $50 an hour.
Yeah.
Or they're, like the restaurant industry pays very little and they're suffering because of it, right? So
yeah, unfortunately.
I think it's really important that employers start to think about, what are they offering? Because, we have to have people working, but, this begs the whole question about what is a livable wage, right? And can every industry do that? I mean, I'm still floored by the fact that DPW only pays $13 an hour for a lot of the people who've been running our city this whole pandemic. That is our trash men. And so, I think this whole thing with workers being more picky is a good thing, actually. I know employers aren't going to like that, but I think that's, we've got to make sure that we're able to help people actually have wages that will be able to help, their family. So are you finding that, employers are having to sort of change their model in order to be able to accommodate?
I'm finding that employers are meeting that need. Most of the employers I mentioned have increased their wages, have relaxed some of their restrictions to employment. We've worked with a lot of employers that took drug testing off the table, took background checks off the table, increased their wages from 15 to 17, even higher. I remember talking with MedStar for their CNAs. They were looking for CNAs that graduated right out of school to pay them $18 an hour. That's a big change. So the change is happening. We work with Bluestone Communications, myself, Jason Marvin McKinstry, a great workforce supervisor. We met with them and they were going to put together this voice data technician training program, and they were offering 13. And we talked to them and told them, listen, if you really want you to get a candidate that's going to value the work, that's going to be a part of this and going to stick with it, they want to have a wage that say, I value you. And that's what the wage question is. Do you value me as an employee? It's not so much as you can give me a bus pass or you can give me even something during the work year. No, do you value me as an employer enough to invest in me, invest in training me, invest in coaching me, and invest in keeping me on board and helping me grow in your company? That's what folks are looking for. They're looking to be valued. And so that is a part of, again, I saw an article saying the great resignation. people are leaving jobs to go to jobs that's offering onboarding salaries, higher salaries. They're offering all kinds of incentives to come on board. So it's very competitive, but it's finally an employee's market. And that's the way we do want it to be. We want the employee to have the chips because your labor has value. Your
Right.
labor has real value.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm really glad that people are thinking about that. Miss Clark is on. Should I go ahead?
Yes, yes, please.
Sorry, I saw her as an attendee, not as a
Oh,
panelist. So she'll be on in just a second.
yes.
There she is. Okay, great.
Okay.
While we're waiting for Yvette, and I apologize, I'm not sure why my internet is so
Yeah,
spotty
you've got spotty
tonight,
internet today. Sorry.
I don't know. My apologies, but of course, Darel can totally carry the show. But to this point on wages, we as an agency are placing a special emphasis on really only placing people in jobs that are $15 an hour or more. And again, that's led by Yvette and Darel and their team. We have an initiative right now called Hire Up, where we have it's opportunities for people to go to work quickly. It's with DPW, it's with Rec and Parks, Parking Authority, Downtown Partnership, and all of those jobs start at $15 an hour. Again, because that's where our focus is. And of course, getting a job and getting a wage quickly is important, but it's also about advancing that wage. So we've got a lot of training opportunities I can talk about as well.
Yeah. Miss Clark, how are you? Great to see you.
Great evening. Good to see you all.
Yeah, thank you so much for dialing in. We were just talking about what workers are looking for in the jobs, and it's really heartening for me to hear again, sort of, even though I advocated for Fight for 15 in a past life, and continue to do so and continue to fight for fair wages, I'm still kind of new to the field. So although I swear this new job of mine, I've been on the job for almost a year now, I learn so much every day. One of my colleagues says that, you could get a PhD because of all this. I mean, I know more about the pipes underground than I probably want to admit. But anyway, so I'm still learning, and I'm really glad that, all of you are doing this work, because it's so critical, especially now as we recover from COVID. To have people, particularly now with women re-entering the workforce, now the kids are back in school, but also women that are saying, well, I'm not just going to go for any wage. I need something that's going to be flexible for my family. So partially, maybe, partially virtual, partially in the office, some, flexible hours. So, it's interesting that, it's a worker's market, if you will. And yet employers are really struggling, I think, and it sounds like you all are helping them with understanding what really people are looking for.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of advocacy for actually since the onset of the pandemic. And I think what our success comes from just being intentional. Like, we made a decision that we were going to be intentional and we were going to ask for more. Our primary customer is always the employer, and it still is. But in order to get our employers a workforce or the talent that they're looking for, we have to make the ask. And so we tested the waters. We were intentional. Yeah, they were paying 13. We asked for 15. And this year we're going to be asking for more. So I mean, the proof is in the pudding for us. We ask and it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so of the 30,000 per year that you're looking for, that's in a normal year, whatever normal means. So most of them are currently still employed. What's your metric in terms of, do you follow a worker for a year after they get employed just to make sure they have everything that they need?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it really depends on the customer. We'll stay with them honestly forever. There's some customers that come to us, they get a job, it's a stepping stone to something more. And our doors are always open. Yvette, Darel, and their team will constantly work with that resident. Other residents get into a work environment. It's what they wanted to do. They feel good to go. we're not going to be hassling them, chasing them around to talk to us just so we can check boxes. So it's always customer driven, and we're always looking at placement, wages, job retention, and customer satisfaction. That's both the resident and the employer. And again, customers come to us at all levels. So lots of folks come to us, they're not actually looking for a job, they're looking for a support service, they're looking for financial empowerment counseling, they're looking for other documentation, et cetera. And then some, of course, are unemployed or underemployed. We're happy to help them.
Right. And we talked one time, Jason, about what the barriers are for employment. One of them, so sort of circling back to my background, being stable housing. That, you just moved into an apartment, you got a new job, but you don't have that amount for a security deposit, or you don't have enough for that first, couple months rent, until your paycheck, it's not like you get paid right away when you start. You have to, there's a pay period or two before everything starts to catch up. And the council just passed and the mayor put in place, the security deposits, help, which I think hopefully a lot of the clients that you see or customers you see will be able to take advantage of that program. But also I have had conversations, and I think you have too, with Commissioner Kennedy about what rental assistance or something program for specifically tied to employment might look like. So we're working on that. But what are some of the other things you're seeing that, are sort of systemic that we need to change? I mean, access to computers to do the resumes, but they can get them from your shop. What else are those barriers? Well, daycare. There's daycare is a big barrier, especially, now that women are going back to the workforce, but there's still that, got to pick them up from school, that kind of thing. So what other barriers are you seeing, and how can other agencies or the council or others can sort of help to address that?
Well, I'll start, but Darel and Yvette definitely jump in. I mean, we see the full gamut, right? And one of the things that we've been working on is to turning our centers into access points. So when you come to us, yes, you need a job in many cases, but there's other services that you need. And it may be, for example, housing. It could be legal services. It could be childcare. It could be a whole host of things. And we don't want to be thinking too narrowly. So we've really created our centers as access points. We have other partners, government and non-government, so that when they come to us and they say there's a service that they need that maybe is not best served by MOED, rather than giving the resident the runaround, we can tag into them virtually, and we can all work together to serve the customer. And as I mentioned to you, in the early days of our access points, where we're looking at what are customers coming to us and saying is their greatest need, housing rises to the top of the list. But again, let me kick it over to Darel or Yvette. I know that they see residents on a regular basis.
So it's regarding barriers. Of course, the barriers are sometimes just something as simple as my marketing, being able to market my skills and my abilities in a resume that looks like it belongs in front of an employer. Those type of things. It could just be my interviewing skills. It could just be, again, childcare. But one of the biggest issues that we are facing, of course, we're in Baltimore City, our justice involved population. And some of the barriers that are faced by other populations in Baltimore City, even our Latinx community. So there's those type of barriers as well. And we've done to me, a great job in putting together processes to help people alleviate those barriers. We are always been a one-stop center where you can come to us and get almost anything done. Even if we weren't doing it, we have a partner that is, because we have a big workforce reach throughout this state. And a lot of our workforce partners are offering all kinds of other services that we can connect those customers to. Some of it could be even mental health. We work with doors very well with disability. So we have a lot of reach. And so it's not so much as the barriers, as much as it is us having, again, folks who are ready to come to our centers, because our centers are open, and engage us. A lot of folks have been loving virtual engagement, And so we're still offering that as well. So we, whatever the barriers are, we want people to understand that don't let that be your limitation. Come and see us and see what we can do and help you, especially candidates who feel like there is nothing out there for me. I know employers right now that will hire you. We know that right now. There is no limitations. The only thing you need to do is say, hey, let me give MOED a shot. Give us a chance. Let's see what we can do. And even if before you feel like, man, it wasn't as great experience as I want, give us another chance. We believe in second and third chances, so give us a second and third chance too. We don't get it right all the time, but we do our best. And we have a real dedicated staff of people that really care about what they do and care about helping employers and care about helping the residents of Baltimore City. So we don't get into the barriers. We try to put in processes to remove those barriers so folks can come to us and be free and clear that they can move forward in their lives. And Yvette, I'm sure you can add a lot more to it than that.
That's fine. I echo everything Jason and Darel said. I look at them as challenges. Just like we had challenges pivoting in a virtual world, so do our job seekers. It is very challenging trying to figure out how to deliver services in a virtual way and being effective. But nonetheless, I think we've led the way in doing that. We've been very successful in doing that with coming up with different innovative ways. And we're constantly learning. But with that said, with transportation being a long time barrier and challenge for many people in the city of Baltimore, people want virtual jobs. So when it comes to those virtual jobs, we have to be, we have to prepare people to interview in a virtual way. We've done all of our interviews. Actually, I've interviewed a lot of folks over the last 12 months, and I'm still interviewing people, and I'm interviewing them through a virtual platform like Zoom. A lot of people are not used to that. I had a job seeker who was phenomenal today, but she was nervous because she's never interviewed, on a screen like this. It's just different. And so we have to help people overcome that. And we are. And I think the best way to get someone to overcome that fear is to jump right into it, let them know that we're here to support, and then, lead the way and coach them along the way. So that's the beauty of the work that we do. Before we get them to that employer, we pre-screen and we coach and we prepare people before they get to the employer. And I think that, we just need to do a lot of what's working, and that's working well for us.
So
That's great.
If I could just
you mentioned, go ahead.
Just really quickly, some of the ways that we help folks directly, aside from the job matching, right? I mentioned Hire Up, where we have jobs available right now, $15 an hour. And then we've got Train Up, where we're going to have likely 10 different training options for residents to choose their path. It could be healthcare, it could be construction, it could be IT, it could be automotive. Every participant in Hire Up or Train Up gets access to an attorney to help with any legal issue. It doesn't have to be criminal. It could be landlord-tenant dispute. It could be credit issues. We will also have every participant have access to a behavioral health counselor for any issues that they want to talk about. It's been a very tough time for everyone. We're also bringing on adult literacy providers. That RFP should go out likely next week. We know that a lot of residents have dreams, but in some cases, there's an educational credential that's getting in their way. These providers can help them either get the credential or just increase their literacy, because there's a lot of entrance exams. And finally, I think it was Yvette mentioned transportation. We're soon to announce a pilot where we will be providing ride share opportunities for residents for the first month on the job. We know that Baltimore has transportation challenges. Some of those challenges are longer term things we have to figure out as a city, but this is something we can do immediately to help people get to and from work until they get that first paycheck.
Well, and Vehicles for Change just moved into my district last year on Green Mountain. One of their spaces is on Green Mountain Avenue, and they're actually still looking for car. They need more cars, so anybody wants to donate their car, it goes to this exact thing so that people can get to work. And we actually did that. Yeah, we did too. My husband had we only have one child, and he had a minivan. So don't ask me why. He had a minivan, and anyway, it was old, and so we gave it just well, put it up the street. So yeah, and I'm grateful that was able to go to a family that that really needed it. So Vehicles for Change has been a really good resource. I should invite them for Saturday, actually. And so it's really great what you all are doing, and it's so important. Yeah, transportation seems to be a huge barrier because our bus system is so bad. And hopefully all of you have, anecdotal evidence, if not, actual proof that, oh, I couldn't get there. I had a constituent who lives in Darley Park. When I was door knocking, he said, yeah, I got this job, but it's all the way in the county and I can't get there. And that should never be a barrier. So the idea of a ride share for that, paying for ride share for that first month until they get their paycheck to be able to get there is a really great idea. And, we did have a lot of people decide that they were just not going to, rely on other employers and become their own employer, right? We have a lot of people who decided to be entrepreneurs. So last week, we actually talked with LEDC, Latino Economic Development Corporation, and they had said entrepreneurs that wanted their help went significantly higher. So it's interesting. I think people are, workers are wanting more, which is a good thing. And some are saying that I'm going to do it on my own, and that's a good thing. But hopefully we can continue to work on these barriers too, because we, especially transportation, we really want to make sure that everybody can get to work. So I really appreciate that. So the mayor announced something today with your office. So I don't want to spoil it. So why don't you go ahead and announce it here?
Terrific. Yeah, we'd love to do that. And it could be terrific for your district. So what he announced today is additional community job hub opportunities. And we sometimes called CJHs. And a job hub is where it could be anywhere. It's literally our attempt to meet residents where they are. We want to partner with trusted community organizations. They could be nonprofits. They actually could be for-profits, nonprofits, faith-based. We'll go anywhere. And it's a very simple form to fill out. And then what happens is we send a staff person. The staff person works out of that hub, out of that nonprofit or faith-based institution on a regular basis and provides workforce services to residents in that area. So, again, we really value our centers. There's lots of different services at our centers, but certainly as a first point of contact, or perhaps everything can happen right in a neighborhood. So we would love to have a job hub in your district. Certainly want to spread the word, and for folks to know, it's just sending an email to CJH, I'll put this in the chat, at oedworks.com. CJH again stands for Community Job Hub. And when you send that email, we'll send you back a form to fill out. It's very simple. It's not a lot of bureaucracy involved. And again, it's just us wanting to connect to trusted community partners.
So if I understand correctly, so you've got the centers around, but this adds another element where you're actually going to be in more places, but you don't have to pay the rent or whatever. You're just partnering with, let's say, the Y, and you're there for certain hours, and people can come in and know that you'll be there for those certain hours, or, even in a school, or, if I had an office on Greenmount Avenue, you could be on in my office on Greenmount. I'm working on it, but I don't have it yet. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, great examples. Again, to your point, we don't need to build new buildings all the time and have, 15 staff people in them. We can have a single staff person who can get a lot done working directly with residents. And if it works out, if it makes more sense for them eventually to go to the center, terrific. If not, we can provide them services right on site.
No, that is super important. One of the things that I have a bill pending that would be a study and report about what I call, and it may not be the right term, integrated services. So if somebody comes in, let's say they come into your job center, or they come into, let's say you have a hub at the Y, then they're saying, well, we need a job, we need this, that, we that, but I need, my grandmother is having issues with Social Security. My brother needs a job. My sister has a disability. Like the whole family has, things that they may need. And then, wherever that entry point is, whether it's a school, whether it's your hub, whether it's a CAP center, this happens in other states. There would be this technology or some way where every family member could be evaluated to see what they need and what they're eligible for, and to the extent possible, enroll them right away there, rather than just saying, well, call here, call here, call here. Like, so I think we're going to move in that direction. I know there's actually Garrett County and Montgomery County and Dorchester County are moving in that direction as well. And I'm hoping to push there. But your example of sort of putting someone with the skill sets that for what you offer into a place where also they could get other services as well makes a ton of sense and sort of goes towards that that model. So that's really exciting. So, do you have a limit for how many hubs? Because there's like a million nonprofits in Baltimore City.
I know. Well, right now it's 5 new hubs.
5, okay.
I'm certainly of the opinion that, and from a city taxpayer perspective, it's a very low cost way to get services into the community. And I'm of the opinion that if we do 5 and they're successful, we could do more. But we're going to start with the next round is 5. And we have a couple of hubs now. Again, they're really successful. And residents really appreciate, being very comfortable going in their neighborhood to get the services that they need.
Great. Well, we'll figure out the right place for you to put a hub here in the 14th district, because I think that's going to be really, really important. So that's very exciting, and probably best that you're not saying call so we can put a hub everywhere. We're gonna do 5 now, and then we'll get the capacity and do another 5, and then we'll get a capacity and do another 5. Is that ARPA funding that's funding that, or is that something that you already had in the works?
It is ARPA funding that's funding that. We did have a couple of hubs, so we sort of tested the model. And again, this is what we believe in is, just start small, see if it works. And if it works, go bigger. And so we're going bigger with 5 more, and we're excited about it.
That's great. Yeah, the federal money for the audience is called American Rescue Plan Act. So it's ARPA money. And the city is going through a process now of how to spend this money. It can only be used for items related that had some sort of COVID impact. And it's a lot of money. It is money that we will never see again in our entire life. So we need to do this right. And there's applications open for agencies and nonprofits to apply, but there are some very specific criteria as well. So I had put something on our email of my weekly email about it, and I'll remind folks again. So that's great that you can do that with ARPA money, but it is once in a lifetime. So once that money expends, there's other resources you're going to have to find to keep that rolling. But I guess you're doing a proof of concept here to see how it's going and then go from there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And again, it's a really modest investment. It's essentially the cost of one staff person, right? So per hub. So if it works, and we think it will work, I think we can find a way to keep it going.
Yeah, and there may be demand by that time as well from employers that might want to help out or something like that. So yeah. So we talked a lot about like large employers, but we have a humongous small business community as well. My district, I am fortunate to represent 7 small business areas. Hamden, the Avenue, Waverly Main Street along Greenmount Avenue. I have part of Cold Spring Lane, Miss Shirley's. I consider the Harvard Road corridor from Erdman down. There are some commercial spaces there, but then all the way over to North Avenue near Darel Park area. So Charles Village. So I'm fortunate. And yet, and a lot of people did support small business during the pandemic, which I think was good. I know that small businesses are still, struggling because they can't pay those wages that we really want them to pay. And I don't know whether you've done any work with them on how to address that issue, because that's a big deal.
It's a big deal. And I was hoping that you were getting ready to start talking about employers, because we've got something good coming. We actually have a part of the ARPA funding. We're going to launch an initiative to subsidize wages for small and minority owned businesses. Meaning
That's great. So you're going to subsidize them. That's amazing. I hadn't even thought about that.
Yep, to hire someone who's either been laid off or a new employee, and that's been affected by the COVID pandemic. So we're going to pay up to $6,000 per individual that an employer or small business or minority owned business hires up to 3 people. So it's a cap of $18,000 or $6,000 per hire. So we're getting ready to do the programming's almost finished. We're hiring staff to start engaging the small business community, and we're excited to be able to offer that wage subsidy. So that's going to be incredible, and it's something new for us. It's going to be incredible.
That's huge. That's huge. And then how do we make sure that, once the money goes away, but it's not going away for another 4 years, but what happens, to make sure that that's sustainable? Are we going to be working with the employer to, get their business up and get them credit or something like that to continue the wages?
Yeah, it's going to be an incredible opportunity for us to, develop new relationships and sustain the ones that we already have. But whenever you're subsidizing wages, you're giving that employer an opportunity to train that individual, to be successful in their company. Also look for opportunities in which they have a career path in that organization, because you're taking wages off the table for a little bit of time. And so there's a focus on the employee and there's a focus on retention. So excited about that. And yeah, we're hoping that these relationships that new relationships that we're going to get from this program is going to be sustainable, and we'll be able to find other incentives for them to hire Baltimore City residents.
This is huge. So how many employers do you think you'll be able to work with?
It's first come, first serve. So I don't know. I don't know how many, we're hoping. What's the cap?
I'm blanking on the total number. I will try and dig it up while we're on this conversation, but it's significant. And again, we intend to replenish it as it's used. Like we've talked about with the transportation and some of the other things, and CGH's community job hubs. These are proof of concepts, but we have demonstrated that we find a way to keep it going. So I will dig up the exact number. I want to say it's in the neighborhood of 250 subsidies of $6,000 each. In fact, I'm certain of it.
That's pretty significant.
That's the start. Yeah.
And obviously, the city is working on an equity lens, so we want to make sure it's our small minority businesses. I don't like saying minority business because we're a majority minority city, so businesses of color who owned by people of color who are that's great. What a really great opportunity. That's awesome. So that's so exciting. So, this is the stuff we, dream about when we're sitting at home for 18 months.
Yeah.
And because, but it's great. And you all really make a great team. So it's wonderful to be working with you. And I'm really excited to be with many of you. I think Mr. Falls and Ms. Clark, you're going to be with us on Saturday. So
I will certainly be there.
You'll be there. Okay, great.
Yes.
I'm really excited about it. Again, this is my first sort of foray into this particular way of doing things, but I'm learning a lot. And, we've gotten a lot of inquiries already. Oh, can I bring so-and-so? Or, oh, is this? And somebody said, well, is it youth-based? And I was like, if they're 18, yes, as long as they're out of school or whatever. But I think, it's not youth works. So that's not what we're talking about here. That's a whole different ballgame. But it's, it's going to be exciting. We do have the Postal Service that's going to be there. I've actually been, we're all very upset with them right now. but I offered them, come to the job fair so you can recruit people, and they accepted. And that, those are amazing jobs. I'm hopeful that that works out. We also have the EMS side of the fire department will be there to recruit. We just had this hearing about the fact that they're having recruitment issues. I'm excited about that. And then Dream Management, they do transportation and language services. I mentioned Gilcrest and the Y already. I'm so excited for Gilcrest to move into the district. I don't know if you've been in the building, but it's gorgeous. You'll see it on Saturday. We also have Cloverland and Carroll Fuel. So a really interesting mix of folks, and we might get some more because I talked about it in the Hamden Merchants meeting today. It's going to be very exciting. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all there.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be great. And
I would just say for any of your constituents, come anyway, even if it's not, if that list of employers isn't your sweet spot, Darel, Yvette, team, they'll work with you to find, find a job wherever, whatever your interests are.
Yeah, thank you. That's a very great point, because you're going to be there to be able to provide your services. We have Baltimore Action Project, that's Baltimore Legal Action Project, that's going to do the expungement work. The Citizen Policing Project, that's also doing some job, working on the job issue. So it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. The Y is so thrilled to be able to host. They're, because they are looking to be a hub, and that whole complex there is with the senior housing, Gilcrest, and the Y is really a hub for our district and our community. So we'll put one of your hubs right there. I think that'll be great. The new Dunkin' Donuts that's over there, I hope is going to be open by Saturday. That would be nice. We'll get a lot of people just because they're coming to get donuts. So that's okay. I'm okay with that. Anyway, I really appreciate all of you being here this evening and taking the time out of your very busy schedules, or at least at the end of your night, after a busy day. It's really exciting to see everything that's happening, the opportunities you're taking to be able to address some of the longstanding issues, the fact that you're taking on the challenge that workers are actually asking for more. So we have to work with our employers to do so and to meet that demand. And then all of your energy around this is infectious. So I'm very excited to work with all of you moving forward. Excited to see you all on Saturday. So thank you very much. Any last closing remarks from any of you?
Nope. Thank you for inviting us. Really, really, really appreciate it. Really.
Sure.
Thank you for letting our voices be heard. I mean, we've got a lot of great things going on, and we do work with a wonderful team of individuals who are passionate about our work. So thank you for getting us the platform.
Yeah, and I would just echo Darel and Yvette and say, for residents out there, there is opportunity for you. We would love to work with you. And for employers, I would say we got a great workforce. Come and give Baltimore residents a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's this perception out there that we don't, but these are everybody that I've met is in Baltimore, and I've been here for 30 years, is very passionate about the city and passionate about, making sure that they have what they need for their families. And so they'll do what they need to do. We have, a new workforce with our immigrant community and our Hispanic community growing so much. So that's actually a really great opportunity for employers to hire Spanish speakers. That's a really big deal. So I think it's really exciting what's happening. There is a lot to do. So it's good to have such a great team and wonderful partners, and I think it'll be great. So thank you all very much. I really appreciate it. And for our audience, thank you for joining us this evening for this conversation. Please come out on Saturday, noon to 3 at the Y. To meet these wonderful folks from MOED and also all of our employers, and just hang out with cool people in the 14th district.
There you go.
And then next week, we don't have a town hall next week because the city council is having a forum and hearing about the consent decree. I'm on the public safety committee, so I kind of have to be there. And I'm on economic development, public safety, and also rules and legislative oversight. So also public safety not being my field. So I'm learning a lot. And the following week is the 27th of October, and we will have DOT. So we'll have Director Sharkey and several members of the leadership team. We'll get an update on the many requests that we've had with the department, but also just get a general sense of where they're headed, because they have changed their mindset a lot about, it's not about getting cars from one place to another, to another the quickest way. It's one way to the other in the safest way, and also having other modes. So I think that'll be a great conversation. So thanks everybody for your time this evening. Thank you to our guests again for joining us. Very exciting. We got some news flashes here. This was cool. And we will, post this on our website, and we'll post it later on YouTube as well. So lots of people are able to take advantage of the information. So thanks again, everybody. Take care. Have a great night.
Have a
Have a
beautiful
good night. Thanks so much.
Thank
Take
you.
care now. Bye-bye.